Climb aboard on me ship and just hope and pray you make it through this guitar hunting episode, for there be a beast in these waters. Welcome back, troglodytes, to your daily dose of guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. No, I'm not going to talk in a fake pirate accent this entire episode, but I promised you guys we would cover the Kraken Les Paul. So here we go. It's a Les Paul standard that has been done up in a very unique art style. It might not be for everybody, but let's appreciate it for what it is. So first, we have the face of the body. It's completely been decked out like an old vintage map. You know, the old world, where if they see something in this area, they're gonna draw a big scary monster to tell you to never go there, among all the different land masses. So as we zoom in here, we can see the Kraken with all of his long tentacles just all over this guitar. And that artwork is phenomenal. It looks so on point to a vintage map that has been used. Because on top of that, I mean, it's like graphing paper right here. You have the coordinates right here. You can see the island land masses. It even looks like they drew some terrain on this. But the guitar has also been aged to make it look like an old map, on top of the color being a nice ambered over hue. Coming up to the toggle switch, you can see the compass star to help guide you through this map, on top of all the aged gold hardware. Now this is a custom shop Les Paul standard, so it has an ABR1 bridge and a regular stop bar tailpiece. I feel like they kind of let us down on these knobs. They could have done something cool like have black cannonballs. Maybe that's what they were trying to go for on that, because you gotta take down the Kraken somehow. But you really have to appreciate this guitar in person, I think, because looking at it in stock photos versus their video that musician's friend created here, it looks way different in the flesh rather than having that stock photography white background. Doesn't this look so much better all of a sudden? You can really appreciate the aging job that they did on this. But we haven't even seen the Krakens Eyes up close and all of its tentacles. And very detailed artwork. Yes, indeed, they did label these things on top of the topography. So now that we've covered the top of the guitar, let's move on to the fretboard. You're probably thinking, hey, that's pretty cool. You have a maple fretboard on this thing? No, that's not maple, my friends. That's a hickory fretboard. The only other guitar I can think of that utilizes the hickory fretboard within Gibson's lineup was the Andrew Jackson signature guitar, named Old Hickory. But according to musician's friend video, this actually has a 10-inch fretboard radius too, which is very different from Gibson's typical 12 inches. But it has a harpoon inlay on this bad boy, and it appears to maybe even have black binding on here. So not only do you get the interesting fretboard profile, but you get a cool piece of wood that's not normally used, and a harpoon. Looks like maybe a pearloid material rather than mother of pearl, but it's blue at the top. I suppose they also could have got away with red if they really wanted to. But now check this headstock out. That's what makes this art guitar really cool in my opinion. They have the Kraken up here, same map style stuff. They even labeled it. I love it when Gibson labels their art guitars and names them, especially when it's as coolly named as the Kraken and it has it right there. Gold hardware on this one. Kind of an interesting choice to have the plastic button tuners, but I guess it works. They could have went as far as like putting little pirate ships on here, but maybe that'd be a bit too cheesy. But hey, check out the Gibson logo. They changed it up for this. And this is that one time when a really expensive Les Paul, I'm okay with it not having mother of pearl. Now, sure, it would have been cool to have it done up in like black mother of pearl or something for this. But I like it that they gave it that old-timey look right here. It matches this guitar perfectly. Now swapping over to the back, it just becomes like a regular Les Paul standard. They did some aging back here to match the top, but what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4 strap buttons. Why do you need that many? Is it like some crazy B-bender system up here? I was really hoping for that. But no, they just decided to put 4 strap buttons on this thing to make it extra fancy because they've got these surrounding brass plates. Maybe that has something to do with maritime status. I don't know. I can't explain that one to you guys. But hey, check out the black binding on the top. Typically, black binding doesn't make a statement, but on this one, it does. Now, did they do anything crazy on the back? No, not really. They could have did a relief carving of a Kraken down here like they can do on some art guitars. But the back of the headstock on this one reads Kraken #1, and it was a NAMM Show Display piece in 2019. Now that I've learned a little bit more about this guitar, this thing sat at musician's friend's shop, I'm pretty sure, for a good year or two. It was really expensive. I don't quite remember how much, but it was definitely in the 5-figure range, like 10 to 15,000 if I remember correctly. But this is one, as the time passes on, I kind of regret not buying. Because the reason I didn't is A, I thought they were going to make multiples of this, which I suppose they still could have. This was labeled #1, not necessarily the only one. But I thought it was something that was just like a musician's friend dreamt up thing. But no, this was a 2019 NAMM display. So if you don't know how NAMM guitars go, you can check out this video when I got a NAMM 59 reissue. Essentially, everything you see there is pre-sold to dealers before you even went to NAMM, well, at least back when we actually had traditional NAMMs. And if you ever look through NAMM footage and you see all these business cards in the guitar, those are dealer business cards saying, yeah, we want this guitar. So they put those cards, and the way I understand it is it's a lottery system as far as who gets what. So they put those business cards within like a little hat, they shuffle it around, they have a great time, all the dealers getting together, and they pull these things out, and then they declare the winners of who gets the privilege of purchasing these guitars. What's kind of funny is Japan, actually, that's a very common practice. They do lotteries. Now that limited edition guitars sell out and they're worth so much after being brand new, they hold customer lotteries for the privilege to buy the guitar. So that's kind of interesting. I wonder if they borrowed that from their Japanese dealers. So there were a whole bunch of dealers who wanted to represent this guitar on the market. And then I think they get to set their own price. But what if I told you this is not the only Kraken to exist? I would assume this was won via a lottery system. Very similarly, Will-Cut Guitars got Kraken prototype #1. Now it's already sold out. So I mean, if you want to buy a Kraken guitar now that you've watched this video, I'm sorry. As far as I know, there's only 2. I mean, there might be more, but I've never seen any other ones surface. But this one, I can see why this was a prototype one. So it's got the same natural back, but without any of the aging. And this one, they went a little bit darker. It's like they put a dark burst on it. They've got the regular cream style binding, and the Kraken just doesn't quite stand out as much. Now, it could also just be the background is black on these photos instead of white on the other, but this one's a little bit more dark and evil looking. You can't quite make out the map lines. Like if you switch back to this one, these lines we were talking about, they're pretty apparent. Like they're not in your face, but you can see them and understand the theme. Whereas when you go to this one, it's got that dark burst finish. They really just hide. You can't even tell that that's meant to be a map. And like all the fine little nitty gritty details of like the islands and the names, but still a pretty cool design. But then we move on to the fretboard and nothing special there, just a regular Les Paul standard. And instead of gold hardware, we have aged nickel, and the knobs are a little bit different as well. The back, as we were saying earlier, very similar. However, I think I have to hand it to him. I might like this headstock better. What's different, you're asking? We'll pop them up side by side on the screen. It's your Gibson logo. This is your traditional one. I like the way they distressed it. It still looks like it's part of the map. This is cool because, I mean, they've never used that logo on anything else that I'm aware of. But I think I like the darker finish of this headstock as compared to the lighter color on that one. So maybe we could have had like a happy medium #3 that has this finish to kind of tone down the brightness, but on the body as well. Because even looking at this body, that's a little bit more ambered than the headstock is. I mean, you can even see that. Slightly brighter to that. So maybe this just needed a tad bit darker finish. But they're both pretty cool. But I would have liked to have seen Kraken on this truss rod cover. I'm glad they changed that. But this one doesn't have the NAMM Show sticker, but it is labeled Kraken Proto #1. So somebody got a pretty cool art guitar there. I vaguely remember this one being pretty darn expensive too. And back then it's like, well, nobody's buying this, so I don't want it either. But now that you can't have them, you know, it's pretty cool. So now let's cut to a quick playing sample of the Musician's Friend video. But hey, since we've got a little bit of time left, let's view an ocean creature that's a little bit less scary. My favorite, the koi fish. Also for sale by Will-Cut Guitars, the guys who had the prototype. This is a PRS private stock custom 24 in a blue finish. Now, if you're not familiar with PRS, they do kind of artsy-fartsy guitars too. I mean, this isn't the nicest koi inlay one I've ever seen, but that's a nice blue top right here. It's got the aged nickel hardware right here. It's just your basic standard custom 24, meaning it has 24 frets as compared to the custom 22. So the way PRS does their stuff, they've got these swoops and comfort carves and whatnot, right? But they leave the maple cap exposed on the edge to give it like a faux binding appearance. So match that with the nice carved top and this beautiful quilty maple top. It's a pretty nice one. Then the back. Doesn't this look like Karina? Well, that's because it is. It's black limbo wood. So you've got all those nice color variations within here. Your back plates are also made out of the same wood, similar to like what you'd find on an L5S. Even your trem cover is made out of a similar piece of wood, which is pretty cool. But no, for me, what I love are these little doofy koi fish on the fretboard. You know, if there was a new hobby I could get into, it would probably be raising koi fish, because I don't know, there's just something about it. I've always loved those little fish, and especially the big ones that get all the cool colors. But at the zoo, I would love to feed those in the ponds. So having that on the fretboard was just very nice to see that PRS would do something like this. So not quite as scary as the Kraken, you just get some nice little Magikarps on here. It looks like you even have some lily pads, that's pretty cool. But the thing that made me go, ah, yeah, is the PRS Eagle right here. They gave it koi colors, orange and white, and that just made me smile. And it looks like we even have like a black binding with a cream layer. I mean, they've just got so much cool stuff going on here. PRS definitely knows how to make really nice fancy guitars. And yes, I asked them to make me one of these, but they said they were too busy right now. Try again another day. So maybe one day we'll document a koi fish on here. So troglodytes, the only question left, would you rock the Kraken Les Paul or not? Leave your answer down the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will catch you tomorrow on the next episode. Take care.
The Kraken, need I say more?